A very good evening and a warm welcome to all the crypto buddies. I would like to welcome you all to the land of cryptoverse. I'm Rekha Khan, your host for the webinar. And today we have with us Mr. Patrick M. joining us from Nigeria and Mr. Ajoy Pathak from India, who are expert on crypto and blockchain industry. Today we're going to be talking about the topic, the future of blockchain and cryptocurrencies. Now that you have joined, you would notice that you are in mute. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please write them on the chat section. At the end of the webinar, we would be holding a Q&A session where all the queries of the participants would be answered by the speakers. From the creator of Odin MCX IEX, here is yet another credible and exchange-neutral platform a user can rely on while walking towards the path of crypto and blockchain understanding. Starting from education to knowledge, to the latest news, all covered under one super app, CryptoWire. From a novice to a professional trader, every market participant can have a slice of information readily available on the touch of their finger. Let me first walk you through the world's first crypto university, crypto TV, and CryptoWire services. We all know that crypto and blockchain ecosystem is emerging at an immense speed, and to keep a track of all the events, prices, news looks to be difficult. So what if we tell you that we have a buddy who works with us, thinks like us, and responds to what we expect? Yes, you heard it right, our very own CryptoWire. Let me take you through the app briefly. Here is a global crypto super app, CryptoWire. Let's start with the homepage of the app, which covers all the three pillars: Crypto University, Crypto TV, and CryptoWire services. Under the CryptoWire services, we have rolled out India's first global index of cryptos, IC15. Yet another feather in CryptoWire's hat. It tracks the performances of the top 15 cryptocurrencies globally based on market capitalization. Crypto enthusiasts and crypto traders can take informed decisions based on IC15. Coming to WireWatch, in this section, we can monitor the best exchange to buy and the best exchange to sell a particular cryptocurrency. In the center of the screen, we can also monitor the arbitrage opportunity available between the two exchanges for the same cryptocurrency. There are more than 350 plus cryptocurrencies listed on our platform, along with 70 plus exchanges worldwide. Crypto TV is an exclusive 24/7 mobile IPTV covering everything on crypto and blockchain ecosystem. It is currently available in 4 different languages: English, Hindi, Gujarati, and Marathi. Coming to Crypto University, being the world's first digital university to offer courses on crypto and blockchain, you can find the best courses offered on MIT and University of Michigan on a single click of the app. With this, I would like to introduce our first speaker of today, Mr. Ajoy Pathak. He would be sharing his views and ideas on today's topic. Mr. Ajoy Pathak, a crypto expert, comes with 20 years of rich experience in the field of training, research, and development. Being an early adapter of the new technology, Mr. Ajoy has great expertise in understanding the fundamentals of crypto and blockchain industry. His passion for training and education has got him a long way. He believes in being full of life and loves to connect with like-minded people. Join me in welcoming Mr. Ajoy Pathak. Hi, Ajoy.
Hi. So can we begin?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Future of cryptocurrencies, if you ask me, like I told you, when you asked me what is the future of cryptocurrencies and blockchain worldwide, I told you it's bright. So it's bright. Let's break it down, the brightness, and see the components a little bit. I'll, with your permission, share my screen. So when we talk about future of blockchain and technology, we basically do that when we witness, where the interest is flowing to. And some of the newses which are happening in the world at this point of time, if I'll just like to bring that to showcase like where the interest of the world is flowing to at this point of time. In India, you must be knowing that the first unicorn, crypto unicorn of India, CoinDCX exchange, it has gone through its Series D fundraising event and has raised about $135 million. This was reported today. Now, $135 million in rupee terms is something close to 1,033 crore rupees, which is a huge, and their focus has been on Web3 development, education, and compliance. Now, that's what their theme for this round of investments have been. And apart from that, there are a lot of activities which is happening. If you keep a track of what is happening in Bangalore, last week only we had an event organized by Coinbase Ventures, who attracted over 100 Web3 development participants with a prize kitty of about $1 million and a bonus of about $25,000 into that. Qcoin Venture Capital is setting up a Web3 development fund for $100 million with their NFT marketplace win-win. So all these things are happening. Look at America after Coinbase, before even Binance comes out with their IPO, another exchange and explorer, blockchain.com, they are planning to bring their IPOs, and such a lot of funding activities and other things which are happening at this point of time when the crypto environment, look at the cryptocurrency prices and other things which is having a very dismal performance, not much of an investment flowing into the NFT marketplaces also. But in the investment segment, in new projects and other things in Web3 development, huge amount of money flowing in, shares that institutional investment or institutional interest in the crypto area is not coming down, which clearly signals that the future of blockchain technology is very, very, very prospective at this point of time. And some of the areas which are going to draw a lot of interest from investors are some of these. First thing, we know already that we are looking to bring in a huge amount of efficiency into the enterprise applications, into the enterprise systems, into the current business models with enterprise applications of blockchain technology in those business areas. Second thing is, a lot of governments are also looking at using blockchain technology in disbursing their services to their citizens in a much better, efficient, and cost-effective manner. Third, we are looking at social sector applications of blockchain technology. Now, this is one area which attracts a huge amount of fund, charity, and there is a lot of activity which goes on. And the latest focus of all the projects and other things into this area is basically on green financing or sustainability development goals, the SDGs, which has been laid down by the world bodies like UN. For every one of us to follow, because we have to kind of respond to the challenges which the entire global citizens are facing today collectively. And we can really use the blockchain technology and this and whatever it benefits it offers us in a big manner to address the challenges that we face in disbursing the projects which has got this sustainable nature, which will reshape the models currently in its current forms and kind of digitize the whole ecosystem and bring more sustainable development areas. Along with that, we have already seen, improvements in CFI, improvements in entire financial offerings to participants by DeFi. We have seen NFTs come in a very huge way, very promising sector, and commercial exploitation of NFTs is currently something which a lot of projects are undergoing at this point of time. And also what we have seen earlier in our discussions, Metaverse. Metaverse is kind of big daddy of all the Web 3.0 NFT and other projects, where the entire idea of an immersive experience for the digital netizen today is evolving in the form of Metaverse, and it's also attracting huge amount of investments, projects, efforts from different segments totally. So these are some of the spaces which kind of is shaping the way blockchain technology's future is evolving today. It's innovating and evolving as we speak and going forward. So let us discuss a little bit about blockchain. We begin with blockchain in business, that is the enterprise applications. Today, if you listen to any of pick up any of the enterprise reports, CEO surveys and other stuff, and wherever they're talking about digital transformation, people are talking about the disruptive technology, blockchain, and how they can imbibe the blockchain technology into their business models to have a better offering for their consumers and things like that. Now, this is what is emerging in a big manner. So everyone is looking for their business model retransformation or realignment with inclusion of blockchain into their operational process and stuff like that. Now, this is one of the technologies which is touted to be one of the big disruptors of various industries. Like, try to imagine it this way, that we are talking of the technology which is one part of what we know as a larger family of distributed ledger technology. So kind of it goes and impacts the ledgers, correct? The records, which are very essential elements of any business to conduct their operations and stuff like that. So we are talking about a technology which allows us which provides us with the capability of rewriting, reshaping the way we have kept our ledgers from time immemorial till today. A new way of maintaining our ledger, a new way of writing our ledger. And ledger being such an important component of the businesses of today, it is quite evident, and it's conclusive that this technology is going to impact all the areas of businesses in some form or the other. Only the implementation part and different segments may differ, but wherever there is a ledger and wherever there is a necessity of writing a ledger, the distributed ledger technology, which is basically saying that I can reshape the way ledgers have been kept historically today in a new format, can make its impact in different. That's why we see a lot of people, the big four, they are planning in a big way of coming into blockchain technology and auditing based on blockchain technology. We are seeing some of the national governments like Singapore, Dubai, they are coming up with smart city projects or blockchain development hubs and things like that. Industry leaders like JP Morgan, Santander, they are moving in blockchain technology and its offerings, products, different products, enterprise applications, offerings around it. IBM is already into the fray, into the game, and tech giants like Microsoft, they are moving into Metaverse at this point of time as we speak. Facebook, they have changed their name to Meta, and such events have already happened. So let's see what it holds for different business sectors. Now, this is a study by McKinsey that, there's a huge hype around the blockchain now. They have tried to de-hype the whole thing, and they have tried to bring about blockchain opportunities by different industrial sector, like how good blockchain technology could be for various business sectors that they have analyzed. They have done this analysis on two dimensions, like what is the feasibility, whether blockchain is a feasible technology in that particular industry area, and secondly, how much impact it is going to lend to the overall effectiveness of the offerings of the current industry area. So if you see this chart, average by sector, on the x-axis we find the feasibility study, which is the right hand side denotes a very high feasibility, and the feasibility drops as we move left on the x-axis, and on the y-axis we find the impact assessment, like towards the top of the chart is high impact. So basically saying that blockchain technology can be a very high impact technology in that particular area, and the impact or the efficiency that it could lend to that particular sector drops as we move down. So given that thing, we have an overall average which is like basically 50-50 of the impact and feasibility spectrum that is plotted into this chart, which is the the white dot over here. And on top, above average definitely is the public sector, which is the government. Surprisingly, the centralized government systems can benefit in huge manner through this. And in our second segment, we will discuss that in much more details. And if you look at other technology, media and telecom is very close to the average, whereas very high feasibility is provided by financial services today. And the rest of the segments are also have got very high kind of high feasibility rankings and is moderate in their impact and stuff like that. But obviously innovation is something which needs to be, digged into the processes. And I believe that with innovation, these impacts, these feasibilities could be improved overall. But this is the kind of status that we have today. And let us look at some of the properties which blockchain holds value to be reaped or to be harvested or to be used by these enterprises. So first thing is blockchain provides trust. Trust is a very important component when it comes to basically talking about transaction records, correct? I can transact with you, but do I trust you enough to enter into a transaction with you? Now, with number of people in the transaction forum increasing and the economic activity increasing, believe me, trust is one factor which does not scale up with the number of participants going up. So as the economic activity increases, as the number of participants to that economic activity increases, the number of transactions will definitely go exponential. It is basically will follow with geometric progression. But trust scaling up becomes much more difficult because trust takes time to be established. Over here, the central theme of this distributed ledger technology is that till this point of time, in legacy manners, trust was established by a central trusted third party, because we all trusted that central trusted third party, and he was the institution who brought trust into the process of transaction. But now we can establish trust with cryptographic proof of transaction, which is basically an immutable cryptographic output per transaction or per message which is created over there. And it's digitally created, it's instantly created, and it becomes something which is non-replicable, absolutely non-replicable, because we have got advanced things like, let's say, for example, timestamps and other things which will discern transaction from transaction and help us create a single source of truth with this distributed ledger technology, as in a blockchain ledger platform. So trust becomes one of the greatest things, greatest disruptors which blockchain technology brings into business today. Second thing is their decentralized structure. Now, once we move away from centralized structures to decentralized structure, obviously the operational efficiency increases because more and more participants can participate and make the system much more robust and can provide with their, proactive approach now in a much more prolific manner than what was the case when you have to essentially go through a centralized structure and wait for its, let's say, for example, approvals or for its, vetting whatsoever. I mean, the centralized structure is always like kind of creates a bottleneck from when there is a large number of, supplier of services and demand of services. But if you are making those things, everything pass through that centralized structure, it creates a bottleneck of operations. Now that bottleneck now can be wished away with decentralized structure, and that brings in a huge amount of operational efficiency into the business. And therefore, such systems could really create a very positive impact in things like supply chain management, in high operation incentive activities like trade finance and things like that. Thirdly, because improved security and privacy comes from cryptographic protocols, businesses can engage into transactions with much more confidence with on a digital platform. So all the records, they are up to date. You can just take the record, see whether it is completed, reflecting over there, and can make business decisions much more faster depending on that. So today, improved security and privacy over blockchain protocol adds a huge amount of decision making and operational efficiency to the entire decision making structure, number one. Secondly, what it also does is that it reduces the monitoring and litigation costs involved for all organizations which are involved in such transactions. Therefore, that is also kind of adds to a huge amount of cost reduction, which is essentially our fourth point. Then speed of execution improves because most of the records are digital in nature and are updated into the ledger as and when transactions are happening within definite log time of arriving at a consensus and things like that. Makes it way better than the legacy systems of business that we have now. Visibility, traceability, and immutability, these go a long way in developing confidence of the end customers, also the entire supply chain, and also it helps in understanding the source of goods, planning out, scheduling where our goods have reached and how much has been completed and stuff like that. So these also have got direct benefits into the business, the entire business process and stuff like that. Now, smart contract aided governance. Now, smart contracts is something which will help you automate the business process. Okay, so these are there. There are definite advantages of smart contract and aided governance, automated governance protocols coming into business today. So today, essentially what you can do is that you can create decentralized applications which are nothing but your core business functions programmed. So once your customers are entering into that kind of a thing, it is just taking it through an automated process of different stages, which either required a human to push through the process. Today, it is like an automated contract taking the entire business process forward. The tokenization also creates immense opportunities for various activities. And obviously, all this adds to the innovation and disruption that we are currently seeing influencing the area. Some of the major areas is like, let's say, we discussed this, but it requires some bit of an emphasis. Digital transparent immutable records or the ledger, the digital ledger that we are talking about. This can increase, this can actually dissolve the information silos which are today compulsorily created in the legacy system within organizations of the same industry. So kind of what is happening is, let's say, for example, I'm a customer, I have got account in several banks. So with every bank, I have to go do my KYC. And they keep on doing the KYC every year. So if there are forms like 15G, 15H forms that needed to be submitted, it is submitted every year. So what is essentially happening is that there is a lot of replication of same activities between different institutions within the same industry. That's something which is adding to the overall industry inefficiency. Now, if we have a common digital record like that of an KYC record, which can be shared among all the participants of that particular industry who require that with digital identity provided, that KYC thing is done. The same thing can be used for healthcare, can be used for insurance, can be used for financial services, can be used for so many things. So basically, I don't have to bear the cost, or the institutions really do not have to bear the cost of replicating that effort across all around. So that results in a huge amount of efficiency being added, a huge amount of cost savings being provided through this method. Now, second thing is, with a transparent record, what we can really access is a big amount of data, transparent record, management of data, putting analytics over there, employing big data techniques to analyze that data and extract business decisions. All these advantages can be, harvested from a digital record. And also up-to-date record keeping instantly will definitely increase reduce the information lags in decision making and stuff like that. With smart contracts, as we have discussed, we can automate the business process. Smart contracts essentially employ an escrow mechanism in between, which reduces the counterparty risk and also reduces the monitoring and litigation costs, which today is one of the huge costs of every enterprise. And as the enterprise gets bigger, this cost gets larger and larger and larger. So we are talking about an industry-wide cost reduction if a consortium smart contract or a standard smart contract is used across any industry. Tokenization is basically dematerialization in a digital format of any asset, for that matter, any securities, any asset, or even issuance of new tokens which are not backed by any security. So with tokenization, we are essentially talking about STOs, ICOs, IDOs, and all such kind of issuances, fundraising. Now, with crypto security, with cryptographic protocols, what we can do is that we can enhance the reach. We can enhance people participation into it. Okay, people can participate into a dematerialized event with much more confidence. Okay. Now, also what it can do is, let's say, for example, today we have seen that a token can be subdivided into a huge amount of fractions. Fractionization is very easy in a digital format. So what we can do is basically we can create 100 million fractions of a very expensive token, or a very expensive asset, for that matter, and we can now distribute that expensive thing among people who want to gain the advantage of that over 100 million users, which are doing micro investments, gaining micro returns, but aiding to a large investor base. So basically, fractionalization helps in expanding the investor base today. Third thing which tokenization also does is that it helps us in commercialization of the non-fungible tokens. One of the use cases that could be discussed over here is the real estate business. Every house has got a unique address that could be minted into an NFT. The NFT could be tokenized, and globally people can participate into this, participate as an investor into this segment. Similarly, all the commodities, they could be tokenized and redistributed. All the securities could be tokenized and redistributed, and things like that. So tokenization really opens up the doors to a large amount of funds which are locked essentially within jurisdictions or compliances, or simple ticket sizes, those operational issues. And asset lifecycle management also becomes much more easier with digital transparency, immutable records, smart contracts, and it really clarifies the entire asset lifecycle management aspects of business. So these are some of the advantages which we see for external communication or engaging external parties. For the corporations, we see distinct advantages in supply chain management. We see distinct advantages in ease of payment. Our marketing campaigns can become much more effective with the implementation of blockchain, and our customer engagement could be much more intensive if we can really have those digital records up to date. Customer experiences can be analyzed through those big data, and we can churn out the reports in a quick manner. For internal operations, we can have better hiring, because then if the documents are there issued by people in a blockchain, it could be readily verifiable. Forging, corruption in that process could be eliminated, and we could be hiring with much more security, much more confidence. So these could be done. So essentially what this entails to is that it improves speed of execution and lets the corporation enjoy huge amount of high efficiency at much lesser cost. Also in the financial process, it aids with financial management, and externally it aids in capital raising by expanding investor base, going across jurisdictions through tokenization and stuff like that. So all said, this entire thing could be designed around smart contracts and be powered by the blockchain technology and the smart contract. And this is the core idea behind enterprise application of blockchain technology today. So government, like we saw in the McKinsey report, that blockchain technologies can be used by government. Now, the thing is how. Let's check it, Estonia. So there is something called e-Estonia. Now I'd request all of you to go to YouTube, and this is a YouTube video example. It's a fantastic case study where you can understand how Estonia is transforming their digital service, their services to their citizens through the e-Estonia governance. Now, this is something which I believe you should all study. Go to YouTube and take yourself through this wonderful video. Now, there is another PwC report I'd like to share over here. You can download this report from PwC website and go through it. I'll just pick up some excerpts which talks about the digital republic secured by the blockchain. So even Barack Obama, he ended up saying that I should have called the Estonians when we were setting up our healthcare website. So that's kind of, a testimonial which can not be declined at any point of time. Estonians can really feel proud about claiming themselves to be the most advanced digital society in the world, and the world's most advanced. This is some of the things that they have done. Fact of the matter is that the Estonians, when they got their independence from the USSR, they broke out as a separate country after the breakdown of USSR, the Soviet Republic. They did not even have enough money to run their basic citizen services. So basically, within 6 years' time, they had to set up some kind of an, e-governance system, so over a very low cost kind of an proposition, so that they could meet the ends meet. Okay, so in 1997 they set up e-governance. In 2000 they set up e-tax. In 2001 they set up something called an X-road, which basically tracked the traffic around, and the movement of goods, toll collections and other stuff. 2001, they set up something of a digital ID over these are all non-blockchain developments. Yeah. So in 2001, they had set up a digital ID. In 2005, I-voting. In 2002, e-school. In 2007, mobile ID. In 2008, when the concept of blockchain came down with the Satoshi Nakamoto paper, they were the first to start adopting blockchain into their processes. And they started working on their e-health at that point of time, which again was the testimonial which was put down by Barack Obama. And then gradually they involved blockchain into all of the existing e-services. And in 2014, they came out with their e-residency. So today you can become a e-resident of Estonia, have a virtual office out there, conduct your business from there and everything. 2017, Estonia is being touted into the world as data ambassador. So they have a data embassy set up where every country can use as a data repository. So that's the kind of advancement Estonia has done. Today, it's really the digital economy out there. Interestingly, in 2007, their entire services were crippled down by a mass-scale cyber attack where all their government services were hacked. And they were trying to find a solution for such hacks and other things, wherefore blockchain came down in 2008. They were the first ones to get onto the security of blockchain so that such an event does not cripple them once again. Estonia was actually closed down for several days following the cyber attacks in 2007. As of today, about 99% of the public services are available to citizens as e-services. Today, virtually all state-related operations except marriage, divorce, and real estate transactions can be carried out digitally. Now, this was a report which was a couple of years earlier. I believe today, real estate, marriage, and divorce, everything must have come under the e-services gamut over there. Now, officials have reported that Estonia saves over 1,400 years of working time and 2% of GDP annually through its digitized public services. Just imagine what would be the impact of having all these services in the form of blockchain services in a big, complicated country like India, which is the seventh largest nation and one of the fastest growing economies around the world. Estonia started adopting blockchain from 2008, but deployment of blockchain happened in 2012. Uh, Succession registry was created by the Ministry of Justice. They have chosen KSI blockchain, which is also used by NATO and the US Department of Defense. And today, some of the registries which are backed by KSI blockchain are healthcare registry, property, business, succession, the digital court system, and state gazette. And the government data can be trusted 100% in Estonia today, which is something that we cannot do in India, unfortunately. The ability to enforce the integrity to government data provides the capability to effectively mitigate insider threat focused at manipulating with and abusing the stored data. And also, the integrity of the government data, and you can verify all the entire government data independently in its home database in real time. And it also operates data interoperability between systems and across boundaries. So Estonia remains a fantastic case for e-governance system and blockchain application for government. So basically today, what we can summarize is blockchain-based digital governance can not only protect data, it could also streamline processes, it could reduce the fraud, corruption through the disbursement of welfare activities, and it could also reduce waste. Let's say, for example, if we can employ that into our procurement systems or our public distribution systems, and we can also reduce a lot of abuse. Let's say, for example, fertilizer subsidy over a blockchain, which currently a POC is being worked out by IIT Kanpur along with the Ministry of Information and Technology. Subsidy is going to the wrong person, and other things can be reduced. Also, simultaneously, what we can do is that we can increase trust and accountability into the system. On this blockchain-based government model, individuals, businesses, governments will share the resources over a distributed ledger secured with cryptography. This will eliminate any single point of failure and inherently protects sensitive citizen and government data. So what happened to Estonia in 2007 cannot recur if a blockchain is used in turn to secure the data over there. Now, blockchain-based government has the potential to solve legacy pain points and enable following advantages. Some, like, let's say, for example, government, citizen, and business data can be now securely stored over blockchain. The labor-intensive processes, like what we discussed about, KYC for every institution, for every year, those processes could be just eliminated. Excessive costs associated with managing and accountability can be reduced. Corruption and abuse of benefits distributed can be totally abolished, and the government and online civil systems can be enjoyed with much more trust. And the government can also talk about and perhaps is thinking about digital currency and payments in the form of central bank digital currencies, other applications like land registration, identity management, supply chain traceability, healthcare, corporate registration, taxation, voting by elections or proxy, and legal entities management. So all these various and many more. These are some of the ideas which came on the top of the mind. So these were included, but for the matter of discussion, a lot of things can be done in this area. Some of the blockchain enabled services for public welfare and management is that smart contracts can be used for solutions ranging from asset management, identity management, and also process automation. And these processes could be linked to each another, so that, collection of taxes, calculation of taxes, totally, making money laundering impossible in that economy, or faking of currency impossible in this in the economic system, can be achieved. Then it could also provide for a private enterprise chain, which is developed specifically for the government, with the feature to be able to assign different levels of access to authorized users, ensuring independent validation of transactions and operations, and such things could be achieved. In blockchain solutions, which can enable the citizens, residents, and businesses to participate or manage their data, with active participation from the entire citizenry of a particular country, various jurisdictions and other things, and all this data which is being created on the blockchain can be very secure, and can be totally protected against hacking or any kind of fraud or corruption. A lot of blockchain solutions for public welfare could be thought about. Some of them are, let's say, for example, identity management, smart regulation, like it could allow the agencies to design and create legal documents and regulations which are tamper-proofed. Again, smart contract enabled and things like that. Asset management and process tracking could become very easy. Also, the computation of taxes and reporting and stuff like that can become super easy with this. And budgeting and financial management can become much more efficient and effective with the digital data processing, with analytics and stuff like that. So again, I mean, if we come across interoperability of the platforms, different platforms in the national infrastructure of blockchain, it will be much more helpful in providing public sector functions across the solutions. So some of the use cases are smart cities, central banking, validation of education and professional qualification. It could be used for tracking vaccinations, tracking loans and student grants, payroll tax collection, disbursement of subsidies, procurement systems, PDS systems, supply chain management of these systems, and many more. So these are some of the use cases. Smart cities, let's just quickly skip this. And let's move on to, we have very little time left, so let's move on to blockchain for social impact and sustainable. Now, this is one area which I really want to talk about today, because surveys across the world, and one of the leading surveys conducted by Chronicle of Philanthropy, it suggests that people have very little confidence on how charity funds are being spent today. So to the question that I have little or no confidence in charities, 35% of the respondents have replied with an yes, that yes, I have very little or no confidence in the charities. 50% of the people have responded to the question that whether it is important for me to know whether charities have low overheads. So only half the people believe that charities have low overheads, and that becomes a very important factor for contributing into a charity, that whether a particular charity is showing low overheads for disbursement of the charity effectively or not. Also, 68% have confided that it is important to know if the charity programs are effective or not, and only 13% have responded to the question that yes, charities spend very wisely. So majority of people, almost 67% of them, 77% of them are believing, 87% of them, my regret, 87% of them believe that charities do not spend wisely. If blockchain is used into the entire charity management, or this entire social sector, it will be lowering the administration costs. It will be reducing the risk of mismanagement, and also will be reducing the risk of fraud or corruption coming into play into the charities. It will help the funds to move across borders in a much better manner. And what it will also do is that it will increase accessibility of these charities to those people who really need these charities. Today, when we talk about having 1.7 billion people, adult population 1.7 billion unbanked in this world, we are talking of a very big problem of reachability through centralized institutions out there. We are talking about data non-transparency. We are talking about digital access to mainstream finance, and whether or not the entire systems or the aids or the efforts of people which is going into helping others are reaching out to those people who really require, who really need this help or not. So that is something which is being worked upon, and also it is blockchain is helping the social sector to achieve these challenges which it is facing. Second challenges that we as a human race today face are attaining the sustainability development goals. Goals of no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water, sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work, economic growth, industrial innovation, and accessibility of infrastructure to the last mile guys, reduced inequality so everybody could be mainstream and participate in a free manner, sustainable cities and communities, or responsible communication and production. So basically becoming a welfare society, considering resourcefulness of the total global industrial research, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institutions and partnerships for the goals. So these are the 17 sustainable development goals, and blockchain is kind of proving that it is a useful tool to effectively achieve the challenges or overcome the challenges which are there in such goals in a much better manner. So it is providing efficient access to credit through crowdsourcing and crowd lending, and financial traceability with humanitarian assistance, like what we just discussed in tokenization and during our, just the previous thing in social sector applications. We are looking at sustainable traceable food production systems along their life cycle, so that, areas of overproduction and oversupply could also share their resources with people who are there, who are really hungry. So efficient allocation of resources across the globe could be achieved very in an efficient manner. Then good health and well-being can be achieved with all the healthcare records being secured and digitized. Health systems could be crowdsourced. Education records and certificates and learning technologies could be evolved over blockchain technology or metaverse or such kind of immersive experience. Microcredits, ICT literacy, novel governance structures that could enhance gender inequality. So in a digital world with a wallet address, nobody is going to ask the question whether this wallet belongs to a male or a female or any other gender, transgender. IoT can be implemented to develop smart IoT management systems for clean water and sanitization. One of the leading examples of this is Israel, who are recycling 87% of their natural water usage into various systems. 87% of the water supply is being recycled, which is a huge efficiency. Then in the energy sector, microtransactions, transparent local markets, energy distribution, creation of renewable energy and its efficient distribution, and charging effectively over a blockchain-based systems could be achieved. And financial infrastructures can be optimized. Novel economic organizations could be innovated with smart contracts and other governance models so as to provide a scope for decent work and economic growth. In the industry, like what we discussed today, supply chain traceability, supply chain management, open innovation, disintermediation, reduction of costs, this could act to whatever is required to achieve in the supply sustainable development goals in the industry, innovation and infrastructure space. Financial inclusion, sharing of the economy, reaching out to the last mile guys through digital medias and internet today can reduce inequality. We can build sustainable cities and communities with smart cities, peer-to-peer markets, collective decision-making systems. We can be very much responsible towards our production and consumption processes if we have, provenance. And if you look at the kind of provenance projects today, it is one of the things which it builds customer satisfaction, it builds customer confidence that yes, the goods that we are using are sourced from legal means. So inadvertently, we are not supporting any illegal means and things like that. We can be very responsible towards climate action with accountability and transparency to the entire process. So polluting projects could be, easily spotted and discarded. We can build those incentives for and collaborations for improving the life below water and life on land. We can see if the organizations which are contributing positively to the entire ecosystem above land and below water would be adequately rewarded and the others rejected or punished. So all these things with transparency in public spending, democratic decision making, global cooperation, all these things will kind of add to a better life tomorrow. So with this expression that let's build a better world for ourselves and our future generations to come by using blockchain in the systems and processes that we have, I'd like to welcome any further discussion or questions and answers which might be very. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That was a very interesting presentation. I would like to thank all of the wonderful audience who've shown interest in learning and making informed decisions before entering the crypto market. I would now request Joy to address a few questions that I've gotten. So the first question is, how will blockchain influence trade and commerce worldwide?
Like we said that today's trade and commerce, they involve a lot of documentation in the whole process, right from the start of generating an invoice to bills of lading, bill discounting, overseas financing and stuff. It requires a huge amount of funding in the export area and the import area as well. So today, a lot of corruption activities involved the trade finance. Let's say, for example, same bill of lading can be discounted at several places for multiple financing, under invoicing, and stuff like that. Once we have a immutable record out there, all these corrupt practices could be, totally obliterated, and much more efficient practices could be built upon this. So trade and governance across the world will really become much more better if we could really bring in the accountability and transparency which blockchain has to offer in the world of trade financing. And there are a lot of projects which are doing it presently. One of them I'd like to mention is Komogo. It is working in the space of trade financing for energy distribution, which is one of the biggest marketplaces in international trade today.
The next question up is, why do banks rigorously oppose the use of digital currency?
Well, I do not know of any banks which is currently opposing the use of digital currency. In fact, in my as much as I know from the reports which I received from BIS, Bank of International Settlements, almost 84 central banks collectively are working towards bringing up with their own CBDC projects among almost about 147 nations across the world today, which is a great percentage. So obviously, I do not know why would banks really not like to come into digitization, because obviously banks are today really struggling to service the ends of all the banking requirements that are there, and digitization would definitely give them the edge to effectively and efficiently service all the institutions and the customers that they are servicing today. And
Absolutely.
banks should try and look at the cost reduction, and by reaching out to the remote areas where banking could reach with the help of internet. Today, smartphone and internet has penetrated to those regions where banks have not yet. So that's kind of a call out to the banks today that, well, adopt internet, adopt smartphone technology, and reach out to that unbanked population. That's actually, and financial inclusion that might drive the banks to adopt these technologies and offer their services over.
Yeah, true. We'll be taking the last question. What challenges do you think, Ajoy, government across the globe are facing in regulating cryptocurrencies?
Okay, different. One of the biggest challenge which I think the governments are facing today is how to fit the cryptocurrencies into their legacy system. See, the thing is, our rules and laws and regulations and guides, you have to understand that's an treasure house of evolution of human beings and the human society. I know we have not arrived at our preamble or our constitution or the rules and regulations of today in just one day. That has evolved over a period of time. So there is a huge amount of effort, legacy, thought process, which is involved into that, and we should respect that. Absolutely. Now, suddenly, there is this new kid in the block, okay, which they don't understand. They can't fit it into any of the definitions that they have created for all the other instruments. So regulations will take time to catch up. See, commodities and derivatives, they appeared in, let's say, 1800s, where they were regulated for the first time in late 90s, after the Second World War or something like that, when they thought that there is a requirement for regulating the derivatives markets. The first country to regulate the commodity derivatives was the US. Similarly, equity markets, they evolved in an unorganized manner in Europe in 1400s and 1500s. And the regulations came up maybe just before the First World War in 1800s. So regulation always takes time to catch up. Even if you look at our own SEBI, equities and share trading was there from time immemorial over here. But SEBI came out after Harshad Mehta scam, right? So regulations need to understand the problem in its totality and come up with effective, efficient regulations. So we'll have to allow the regulations that time. Please don't wash them away that they don't want to do that. They surely want to do this. But they will also need to learn what are the nuances, what are the capabilities, how much damage could they cause, and where from those damages could come, so that I can plug the loopholes and provide the investors with a much more safer environment to. So basically, I do not believe that the regulators are against cryptocurrency or something like that. It is just taking them time to understand it. I mean, look at this. I mean, this budget itself is an indication that they are looking to take the challenge up positively. They have introduced some taxes. They are saying that RBI should go to the CBDC way. So that's a clear indication of their positive intent, that they want to regularize it. They want to bring it mainstream. But the process will entail some amount of effort from them to understand it, to learn it, and then bring about effective changes. So if the governments try to bring in a fresh set of regulations, I think that will be much better, because this is a totally new asset class. But if you try to force fit any of the regulations that exist for, let's say, other financial instruments onto this set of digital assets and instruments, then probably you will be going around the bush for quite a while.
Okay.
So that's my 2 cents about legislation, the process, and how things should be done.
Thank you.
No
Thank
problem.
you. So this would be the end of the session for the Q&A. We would welcome all the crypto enthusiasts to please download the CryptoWire app today and be a part of the global learning. We would request all of you to please share your valuable feedback on the session so that this helps us enhance our sessions better. Thank you. Thank you all for attending the webinar. Thank you, Ajoy, for taking on the session.
No problem. It was a pleasure. Enjoy it. Thanks a lot for having me over here. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care. Yeah.